discover that you are the other. I mean, everybody, I start the show by saying everybody in this country wakes up to the day when discrimination will manifest in his or her life. That could be ageism, like you said, your future program is going to talk about. It could be sexism, the discrimination between the genders. It could, in my specific instance, I'm talking about racism. I've had people in wheelchairs, handicapped people, talk about and respond to the show from the filter of their handicap and how people discriminate against them with that idea. Like I said, it's all
so you
about
are
that.
starting a conversation.
Yeah, I'm really trying to do that, a frank conversation about racism, and it delineates the psycho-emotional effects of racism on a black man growing up in America. I mean, after that initial scene of instruction, when you discover that you are the other, and the subsequent reinforcing of that lesson, what kind of toll that takes on your psycho-emotional structure, and what decisions and choices you make coming out of that, because all the choices we make are all based on the information we have at the time. So
yeah, like it shows you how you look at yourself from how the world is looking at you, and that affects you. Yeah,
you build yourself out of the reflection you get from the world, and the information you get from your parents, your peers, people who like you, people who don't. So that's in essence what the show is attempting to do. Using myself and covering a broad range of subject matters and incidents in order to portray, get people an idea about the toll and the effect that racism has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the show itself, I was amazed at how long it is and how your memory and just bringing us the show and keeping the energy level up and making us feel that we were in your life from when you were a young boy and going on that journey with you. I was very impressed by that.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming shows?
Yeah, I was accepted into the United Solo Festival as a performer. The United Solo Festival they tout themselves as being the largest international solo artist festival in the world. It's a stringent vetting process. My show was selected to do one show, and I did that in September on 27th of September. If you sell out a show, they give you another show, another performance. And if that one sells out, you can go up to 8 performances. I sold out the first show. So my next show is this coming Thursday, the 6th of November, Thursday at 9 o'clock. There are still tickets available, and it's at the Theater Row Theater on 42nd Street at the Studio Theater, under the auspices, again, of the United Solo Festival.
Well, that's awesome. Maybe some people here would love to get a chance to get some of those last tickets. I know I enjoyed the show tremendously. Tell us who the director of the show is.
Well, she doesn't want to go as far as a director. She calls herself a directorial consultant. She's Estelle Parsons. Mm-hmm. She's a member of the Theater Hall of Fame. She won the Academy Award for Supporting Actress in Bonnie and Clyde. She was just on Broadway recently with Velocity of Autumn. She's directed Al Pacino, just a number of luminaries. She is an altogether incredible artist, and I'm honored to have a collaboration with her.
Yeah, that is quite an honor.
Oh, man.
Having her input, I've seen her discuss people's work, and it's very inspiring to see the level at which she can pick it apart and help you to make it better.
She has
an honor, yeah.
Has incredible sight. She can see stuff that other people just miss, Yeah, and her motivation, as she said today in session, just this morning, it's a quest for greatness as an artist. That's how she rolls herself, and that's how she attempts to use herself to help other people achieve that aim.
Yeah, I mean, when she tells someone something, it's the truth of what she really means, and that it can do nothing but advance their work.
Yeah, that's what it's meant to
do. So
do.
that's an honor. That means that it's really good for someone like her to want to come on board too.
She attached herself to the show right out of the box. I mean, I started working on it or developing it at the Actors Studio, and she just stepped forward and wanted to be a part of it. I mean, that's the kind of thing that this show does to people.
And I was impressed with the simplicity of the set. Is it still a very simple set?
Yeah.
That, Leland can carry the show with such a simple backdrop that you get so focused on what he's telling you, and you're feeling exactly the way that he felt during those times in his life. And that really helped me to see that perspective from, someone else's point of view. let's talk about what some of the main issues that you think are that we should be discussing in a conversation.
Well, the first thing we have to do is be respectful and understand that everybody comes from the point of view of their own filter. Like I said, your own information, what you've been taught, what you've learned, what you've seen, what you've experienced. And everybody's experience is different, depending on where they live, who their parents were, where their parents came from. And my filter is going to be different from your filter. So my perspective is going to be different. But it's not any less valid. We're not talking about correct. We're just talking about validity.
Sure, we can't change what we think, because that's, I mean, we are trying to change what we think, but how we got to this point is the culmination of all the experiences that we had in our life.
Right.
So I think what you're trying to say, and what I'm trying to show the audience, is that it's time to just drop all the pretense and just talk about what you experienced and get it off your chest in a way that makes you feel validated, that everybody can shed this blanket that they wear of, you know, assuming things.
Yeah, I mean, if you're respectful of where someone else came from or what someone else's point of view is, it stops being a fight and combat and it becomes an exchange of ideas. If I'm respectful where you're standing, I might not agree with it, you know, but I respect that you are there and understand that you got there for a reason. Now, you may be operating on information that I think is faulty, wrong, whatever. But then I bring my perspective to the table. And then we put those two perspectives together and see how they jibe or don't. And as long as we're being respectful and honest, not only with the other person, but with ourselves, as long as we're being open, not only with the other person, but with ourselves, we're going to be more inclined to receive and not just, you know, spew.
I think that's a big issue, that people aren't even honest with themselves.
Right.
They want to blame it on the other person in many aspects in life, not just this topic, but often the root of the problem is that the person can't realize that maybe they have some issues that they're bringing to the table, and they're trying to create the responsibility on the other person.
It's a very human thing not to want to look at the dark side or the things about yourself that you don't like very much. But that's one of the pillars of the show. I mean, we move from that point of discovery to a point of transcendence. And along the way, you find out different things about yourself, you know, where you are assuming things without, you know, enough or complete knowledge, and how that leaves you in a space where you could possibly understand maybe that you're kind of intractable in your position. And maybe you might learn that I'm just parroting or spreading a doctrine that may well be corrupt, because I'm just I'm living my life based on information I got from somebody who didn't necessarily know what they were talking about. And that's kind of difficult, you know, because if you have been taught by your parents, the people that you love, you trust, and somebody's coming up to you and tell you that, well, your parents got it wrong. You know, the knee jerk is going to be, you calling my mother a liar? You know, my people are lying.
Well, of course, there is that stage where we think our parents are wrong about everything.
Right,
then we come back full circle to, you know, being like what we were brought up in. You know.